The difference between successful people and very successful people is that very successful people say no to almost everything. That's Warren Buffett. And it really hits home, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. It's less about being negative and more about, well, fiercely guarding what's important.
Exactly. Protecting your time, your energy. And think about your own day. How much of it feels like it's run by other people's agendas?
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
In this, like, always-on culture, saying no isn't just nice to have. It's become, well, essential for focus.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We're not just talking theory. We want to give you the how, practical ways to use Buffett's idea without, wrecking your relationships.
Yeah, actionable stuff. Have you ever, like, looked at your calendar and felt like a stranger, everything booked, but not really by you for you?
Totally. It happens so easily. It often starts with just that knee-jerk, yes.
Almost automatic. A colleague asks for help. A friend has a last-minute idea.
A family thing comes up and boom, yes is out of your mouth before you even think. It's like a default setting.
It really is.
Mm.
And underneath that, there's some deep-seated reasons,
Like wanting to be helpful, to be liked.
That's a huge part of it, absolutely. We're social creatures. We want to support people, avoid letting them down.
And there's fear too, right? Fear of looking selfish or uncooperative, maybe even just causing friction.
Exactly. Saying no can feel like you're deliberately making things awkward, like you're rocking the boat.
Yeah, swimming against the current.
And even deeper, psychologically, well, there's the fear of disappointment, maybe some guilt baked in, or just social conditioning telling us being agreeable is, the good thing to do.
Like being a team player means always saying yes.
Right. Or a good friend always helps out no matter what. So saying no can trigger this internal alarm, warning you about potential judgment.
That internal battle, wanting to say no but being scared of the fallout, it's draining in itself, isn't it?
It really is. And what's sneaky is how those little yeses just add up. They seem harmless on their own.
Like that quick chat that ends up being 30 minutes.
Exactly. Or agreeing to quickly review a document that takes an hour. Or going to that optional meeting just to be polite.
Or helping a neighbor with something small that just eats your afternoon.
Individually, no big deal. But string them together. Your schedule's hijacked.
Suddenly, that focus time you planned is gone. Your workout gets pushed. That quiet evening you needed vanishes into obligations.
And you end the week feeling like, where did my time go? And the answer is often into other people's priorities, leaving you feeling kind of empty.
And it's more than just lost minutes, isn't it? This constant overcommitment. It hits our well-being, our thinking.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Research clearly links being constantly overstretched to higher stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
Your body's stress response is just always on alert.
Which has all sorts of knock-on effects.
Right. Plus, when your attention is constantly jumping between tasks, you can't really get into deep work, can you? You're just surface level, switching gears all the time.
That makes sense. It feels like you can never fully concentrate.
And studies show this cognitive juggling actually messes with our executive functions, planning, decision-making, solving problems. It's like having too many browser tabs open. Everything just slows down.
And crashes eventually.
Yeah. And crucially, your brain needs downtime to process things, to consolidate information. That gets lost when you're always on.
This brings us to opportunity cost. It sounds a bit business-like, but it's super relevant here.
It really is. Basically, opportunity cost is the value of the next best thing you give up when you choose something else.
So every yes has a hidden no attached.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You say yes to proofreading that report for someone.
You're implicitly saying no to your own writing time.
Exactly. Or you say yes to that social thing you don't really want to go to.
And you're saying no to maybe rest or family time or that hobby you love.
Every yes to something low priority is basically a vote against your own goals, your own well-being. Are you casting those votes consciously?
That's a powerful way to put it. And what about this idea that being always available doesn't actually earn you more respect? That kind of surprised me.
It's counterintuitive, right?
Yeah.
But think about it. If you're always saying yes, people might, maybe unconsciously, start taking your time for granted. It can accidentally signal that your own stuff isn't as important.
Your yes becomes less meaningful because it's expected.
Exactly. Whereas someone who sets clear, respectful boundaries, often they're seen as more professional, more reliable. When they say yes, it means something, because you know they've actually considered it.
Constant availability might even suggest you don't have much else going on, perhaps.
It could be perceived that way, yeah.
Yeah.
And constantly putting others first, never saying no. It takes a toll. mentally and physically.
Mentally, you mentioned resentment.
Yeah, that simmering feeling when you agree to something you didn't want to do. It can poison relationships, make you feel detached from your own life.
Mm.
It's ironic, isn't it? Trying so hard to please everyone might actually make you less effective overall.
And the physical side.
Well, chronic stress from being overcommitted shows up physically. Sleep problems, feeling tired all the time, headaches, maybe getting sick more often because your immune system is run down.
It sounds like a direct path to burnout.
It absolutely is, that
Yeah.
complete emotional, physical, mental exhaustion.
Yeah.
Feeling cynical, detached, that's the real cost of never saying no. You wear yourself down.
Okay, point taken. Saying yes all the time is clearly a trap. So let's flip this. What does effective boundary setting actually look like? How do we protect ourselves without building walls?
Well, first, let's reframe no. It's not just rejection. Think of it as a positive choice, a declaration of your priorities.
A tool for managing your resources.
Exactly. Your time, your energy, your focus, they're valuable. Saying no helps you direct them strategically, according to your plan, not just reacting to others. Boundaries aren't just about keeping bad stuff out. They're about creating space for the good stuff in.
So less about shutting down, more about smart allocation.
Precisely. Boundaries are like guidelines. They define what's okay and what's not okay and how people interact with you. They protect your personal space, your values, your well-being, invisible lines for healthy interactions.
And there's a difference between healthy boundaries and, say, rigid walls, or having none at all.
Big difference. Healthy ones are clear but also flexible. They adapt, they're communicated respectfully. Rigid walls isolate you, no boundaries. That leads straight back to overwhelm.
And we need to tackle that idea that setting boundaries is selfish. It comes up so often.
It does, but it's a misconception. It's actually about self-respect. It ensures you have the energy and focus to contribute where you truly want to or need to. You're protecting your ability to show up fully.
You said the foundation for all this is self-awareness. Why is that so critical?
Because how can you protect something if you don't know what it is? You need to understand your core values, what genuinely gives you energy versus what drains you. What are your goals, short-term and long-term?
That internal clarity becomes your guide.
Your compass, exactly. When a request comes in, you hold it up against that compass. Does it align? Does it move you forward? Or does it pull you off course?
Without that, you're just reacting to external pressure.
Pretty much. Making decisions based on what others want or what feels easiest in the moment instead of what's right for you.
And there's real psychology backing this up, right? The link between boundaries and well-being.
Oh, yeah. Think about self-determination theory. It says we need autonomy, feeling in control, competence, and relatedness. Boundaries directly boost autonomy. You're deciding how to use your time, your energy.
And competence too, presumably, because you can actually focus and do things well.
Exactly. Protecting your focus means you perform better, achieve more, which boosts that sense of competence. Saying no strategically is basically reclaiming your autonomy. It directly fuels well-being.
So it's empowering, fundamentally.
Totally. Puts you back in the driver's seat. Now, this skill, saying no, it applies everywhere, doesn't it?
Right.
Work, social life, family.
Everywhere. Let's break that down. Professionally.
Okay, so professionally, maybe it's saying no to projects way outside your job description or pushing back respectfully on deadlines that are just impossible.
Or skipping optional meetings that add zero value to your actual work.
Right. You might say something like, thanks for thinking of me, but my focus really needs to be on X and Y right now.
What about socially? That can feel tricky.
It can. Socially, it's often about managing your energy. Maybe limiting how many events you go to in a week, or knowing it's okay to leave a party when you're drained.
Instead of feeling obligated to stay till the bitter end.
Exactly. Or just declining invitations that honestly don't appeal to you. A simple, thanks so much for the invite, sounds fun, but I really need a quiet night in works wonders.
And personally, within closer relationships.
Crucial there too. Protecting your downtime. Maybe setting expectations about when you do and don't answer non-urgent messages or calls.
Like not being on email 24/7.
Right. Carving out dedicated time for hobbies. Deciding what personal stuff you're comfortable sharing. It's all about defining that personal space.
It sounds like getting this right leads to a whole cascade of benefits.
It really does. More self-respect, definitely. Better focus and actually getting more done.
Yeah.
Healthier relationships built on mutual respect for limits. And, crucially, preserving your energy, avoiding that burnout cliff.
So understanding the why and what is the first piece. But like we said, the tricky part is the how, actually saying the word no.
That's the sticking point for so many. Knowing is one thing, doing is another. It's about communicating clearly and kindly. protecting yourself while staying connected.
Okay, let's get practical. We know why, we know what. How do we say no gracefully without feeling like a jerk or damaging relationships?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The goal's assertive but respectful, balancing your needs with maintaining goodwill.
It's that internal wrestling match again, wanting to say no, but worrying about the fallout.
Exactly. And the guilt often kicks in before you even say anything. Just recognizing it's okay, necessary, even to protect your boundaries is step one. A really good technique is the soft no.
Soft no. Tell me more.
It's about cushioning the refusal, making it gentler. So key things are show appreciation for being asked, maybe give a brief, general reason, but don't get into long, complicated excuses. Keep it polite, clear, and concise.
Okay, give us some phrases. What does a soft no sound like?
You could try. Thanks so much for thinking of me for this, but I won't be able to commit right now. Or, I really appreciate you asking, but my plate is completely full at the moment.
Simple, direct but polite.
Yeah, for social things. That sounds lovely. Thanks for the invite, but unfortunately I've already got plans. Or more generally, right now I need to focus on my main project, so I'll have to pass this time.
What about offering an alternative? Does that fit in?
It can, yeah. I can't manage that myself right now, but maybe colleague's name could help. That can soften it sometimes.
Those feel manageable, less confrontational. It's about acknowledging the request but stating your limits clearly.
Exactly. No need to over-justify. Another really useful one is the delayed no.
Ah, buying time.
Precisely. Instead of that instant yes you might regret, you create a pause. Gives you breathing room to actually think it through.
So what would you say?
Things like, let me check my calendar and get back to you later today. Or, I need to look at my current commitments before I can answer properly. Can I let you know tomorrow morning?
Nice. Stops the impulsive yes and lets you check if it really fits, if you have the capacity.
It also shows the other person you're taking their request seriously, even if the answer ends up being no.
Okay, and the third one you mentioned, the sandwich method? Sounds tasty.
It's about sandwiching the no between two positive or neutral statements. So positive start, clear no, positive closing.
Give us an example. Say a colleague asks you to take on an urgent extra project.
Okay, sandwich method. I really appreciate you trusting me with this, and I know it's important. Positive start. However, with my current workload and deadlines, I'm unfortunately unable to take that on right now. Clear no. I really hope you find the right person for it, and maybe I can help in a different way once my current projects wrap up. Positive closing.
Okay, I see. It definitely lands softer.
Yeah. So those three, soft no, delayed no, sandwich method, they give you a toolkit for everyday situations. They focus on respect, clarity, brevity, and helping you manage that potential guilt.
These are great for standard requests, but what if someone pushes back? Or if there's a power imbalance, like with a boss, then we need something stronger, right?
Exactly. Sometimes the soft approach isn't enough. Someone might keep pushing, try to persuade you, maybe even lay on a bit of a guilt trip.
That gets really uncomfortable, sticking to your no under pressure.
It does. And here, it's vital to know the difference between being assertive and being aggressive. Assertive is clear, confident, respectful. Aggressive is attacking or blaming. We want that assertive middle ground.
So clear, direct I statements are key. Focusing on your perspective.
Exactly. Instead of you're asking too much, try. I understand this is important, but I'm currently unable to take on more commitments because my focus needs to be on X and Y. It's about your capacity, your priorities, not blaming them.
Okay, but what if they still don't take no for an answer? They just keep arguing.
Right, that's when you pull out the broken record technique.
Broken record.
Yeah. You pick one clear, concise refusal phrase, and you just calmly repeat it. No matter what arguments or persuasions they try, you don't get drawn into debating or justifying.
Can you walk me through that? Say someone keeps trying to get you on a committee you've already declined.
Okay, they say, but we really need your expertise.
Yeah.
You say calmly, I appreciate that, but I'm unable to commit the time right now. They say, it won't take much time, promise. You repeat, I understand you feel it won't, but I'm unable to commit the time right now. Keep repeating the core message.
Stay calm, stay consistent, don't engage with the arguments.
Exactly. It avoids escalating things while holding your ground. Now, what if someone just persistently ignores your boundaries time after time?
Ugh, that sounds incredibly frustrating. What then?
Well, in those cases, you might need to introduce consequences, not threats, not punishments shouted in anger, but logical outcomes that you communicate calmly beforehand.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, if someone constantly interrupts your focus time after you've asked them not to, a consequence might be closing your door or turning off notifications during that time. You'd say something like, I need uninterrupted focus between 10 and 12. If I'm interrupted during that time, I'll need to close my door to maintain concentration.
Or if a colleague keeps dumping their work on you.
After clearly saying no, if it continues, a consequence might be having a conversation with your manager about roles and workload clarity. The key is communicate the potential consequence clearly and calmly first, then follow through consistently if the boundary is crossed again. That builds credibility.
Clear communication, consistent follow-through. Got it. And we should probably acknowledge cultural differences, too. Directness isn't the same everywhere.
Very important point.
Yeah.
You might need to adjust your phrasing, be a bit more indirect perhaps, depending on the cultural context, but the core boundary still needs to be held firm.
And the power dynamics, one saying no to your boss, that feels like the final boss level.
It could feel like it. Direct refusal might not always be wise there. Often, it's better to frame it around workload management and priorities.
How would that sound?
Maybe something like, thanks for this assignment. Right now, I'm fully focused on finishing X and Y by their deadlines. To give this new task the attention it deserves, could you help me clarify which of my current priorities should be shifted?
So it's collaborative. Help me manage this rather than, no, I won't do it.
Exactly. It shows commitment, but acknowledges reality. Look, mastering the assertive no, especially under pressure, it takes practice, but it really unlocks personal power and protects your priorities over the long run.
Okay, so we have the tools. We can say no gracefully, assertively. Let's talk about the payoff. What's the ultimate freedom we gain from getting good at this?
It's huge, really. It's about actively creating space, real time and mental energy for what truly matters to you. Those projects you dream about, skills you want to learn, relationships you want to deepen.
Or just the basic need to recharge and take care of yourself.
Exactly. It's moving beyond just surviving the overwhelm. It's about intentionally designing your life.
Living more proactively, less reactively.
That's it. But let's be real, it takes conscious effort. It takes practice. And yeah, it might feel uncomfortable at first. Guilt, worry, awkwardness, that's all normal. You might slip up sometimes.
So perfection isn't the goal. Consistency is.
Absolutely. Every small no you manage builds that confidence muscle, and think about what that created space actually feels like.
Less frantic, more focused.
Yeah. You recover energy you would have spent on things you didn't want to do.
Yeah.
Free up mental bandwidth that was tied up in obligations. It's like decluttering your schedule in your mind.
I like the analogy of a time and energy budget. Saying no is like avoiding impulse buys to save for what you really value.
That's a great way to think about it. And here's the core link. Saying no to the non-essentials is what enables you to say a full-throated, enthusiastic yes to the things that light you up.
Decline the draining meeting.
Say yes to finishing that critical report.
Skip the obligatory weekend thing.
Say yes to rest or family or your passion project. It's not about restriction. It's about strategic empowerment.
Which brings us back to knowing your priorities. That self-awareness piece is crucial for making these calls confidently.
Absolutely. You mentioned writing them down. Why is that so helpful? It makes it real, tangible. Take time to really identify, what are my non-negotiables? What activities genuinely energize me? What's my long-term vision?
And once you have that framework,
Evaluating a request gets so much easier. You just ask, does this align? Does it help me move forward?
Yeah.
Can I realistically do it without sacrificing something more important? It's your filter.
Okay, so if someone listening really commits to this, practices consistently for, say, a month, what changes might they realistically see?
Well, definitely less stress, hopefully.
Yeah.
People often report feeling less frazzled, more focused, getting more meaningful stuff done. Relationships might even improve because they're built on more honesty and respect.
More energy, a greater sense of control.
Exactly. Feeling more intentional about how their days are spent. Those are pretty powerful outcomes.
Definitely motivating.
Yeah.
So for someone listening right now wanting to start, what's one manageable first step they could take this week?
Keep it small and realistic. Identify just one thing you can practice saying no to. Maybe a small social thing you feel about. An optional task, maybe just delaying answering a non-urgent email until you're ready.
Just one small intentional no.
Yeah. And pay attention to how it feels, both saying it and the space it creates afterwards. It's about building that muscle, one rep at a time.
Because learning to say no isn't selfish. It's fundamental to living authentically, aligning your life with what you value most. It's valuing your own contribution enough to protect the resources needed to make it.
Beautifully put. It's about accepting your limits and valuing your own life. That's the real key to unlocking your potential.
So the challenge this week, find that one intentional no. And we genuinely love to hear how it goes. Share your experiences or struggles in the comments. Let's support each other on this.
Absolutely. Let's learn together. And if you found this deep dive helpful,
Please subscribe. We've got more practical strategies coming your way to help you build a stronger, more focused, more confident to you.
thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, keep practicing those boundaries.
Bye for now.